Hi, my dear ICSE students of class 9. Here I am, Himangi, your English facilitator, back again with you to start off with Act 2, Julius Caesar. So let's begin with Act 2. We've completed Act 1, I've done the question answers with you, and now we start today with Act 2, Scene 1. So open your textbooks and let's read the synopsis. The scene shifts to Brutus's orchard, where conspiracy to murder Caesar is hatched. Brutus finds no cause to murder Caesar. For the good of the state, it must be done. Brutus appears as a public figure surrounded by men concerned in the affairs of Rome. So he is surrounded by men who are acting as if they are concerned in the affairs of Rome. Here we see in this scene that Brutus makes three vital mistakes. Now, what are the three vital mistakes or three errors of Brutus's judgment? First, he says that the conspirators need not take an oath of allegiance to one another. So, he says that there is no need to take an oath, that we swear to stand by each other. So, that is the first mistake that Brutus has made. Second, he does not include Cicero in the conspiracy. We have seen Cicero in the last scene also of Act 1, Scene 3. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that this name Cicero was a very common Roman name. And the name Cicero is given to a lot of people. So this Cicero is not the Cicero that was killed or hurt by the mob in the last scene. Third, he vetoes the plan to murder Antony. So there has been a plan where Cassius and a few of the other conspirators say that even Antony needs to be killed. But Brutus is saying that no, Antony is not dangerous, and his very important statement of Brutus is where he says that Antony is but a limb of Caesar. So he's saying if we cut off the head, means if we kill, because we have killed Caesar, the hand will not be able to do much, and that was the biggest mistake made by Brutus. That was also one of his errors of judgment. When Brutus is alone, Portia joins him. Portia is his wife, showing her love and concern for him. The scene prepares the audience for Brutus's tragedy, which is both public, for the Republican freedom falls to the domination of the triumvirate, and private, the death of Portia and his happiness. So here we also see Brutus. It's not only that Caesar is a tragic hero, but here there can be a controversy if we think that even Caesar is a tragic hero, no doubt that he was dead, that he was killed. But even Brutus can be labeled as a tragic hero because he also dies, and he has all the qualities of a hero. So here the loss for Brutus's tragedy is both public and private. Private because he loses his wife, and public because instead of establishing the Roman Republican, there is an establishment of the triumvirate, the second triumvirate. Okay, so scene 1, we come to Rome, Brutus's orchard. So if you are asked where this scene takes place, you have to say it takes place in Brutus's orchard in Rome. And please remember when the scene, the timing of the scene is, it is midnight. Okay, in the scene prior to this, we have seen it was a stormy night and there was storm everywhere and thunder and lightning and everything. So it is a continuation of that night. And if you remember, the next day, means next day in the morning, which was the Ides of March, that is when Caesar was supposed to be crowned. So whatever happens, the action of this scene is all between the morning and the night. The night of the storm, the stormy night, it continues into midnight, and everything happens before 3 a.m. Before 3 o'clock, this whole thing has taken place. Okay, so it is midnight. Please make a note. It is midnight before 3 a.m. on the Ides of March. That means 15th March has started, but it is before 3 a.m. This scene is a continuation. Please write, children. This scene is a continuation of the stormy night. This scene is a continuation of the stormy night. The conspirators come to Brutus's house The conspirators come to Brutus's house in the darkness of the night. And this is symbolic of sinister evil. So this is symbolic. When you want to do something which is not moral, you choose night. Okay. Now Brutus. We start with the scene. Brutus. What? Lucius? Ho! I cannot by the progress of the stars give guess how near today. Lucius, I say, I would it were my fault to sleep so soundly. When, Lucius, when? Awake, I say. What, Lucius? Now, Lucius is the boy who is working for Brutus, and he is sleeping because it's midnight, so obviously he's going to be sleeping. So here Brutus is trying to wake him up and saying, I am not able to tell by the stars in the sky. Normally they never had a clock or anything, so with the movement of the stars in the sky, they were able to tell what time it was. Okay, so he's saying that I cannot tell by the progress of the stars how near today we are. Means we don't know how soon it's going to be morning or dawn. So I say, Lucius, I would it were my fault. Means it's almost as if he's saying, I wish I could sleep as soundly as you are sleeping. I'm not able to sleep for whatever reasons. Okay. What, Lucius? He's trying to wake up Lucius. Now Lucius, enter Lucius. Children, I would like to tell you here that Lucius in Greek means light. Okay, it represents light. It represents something that is opposite of darkness. So if Lucius is there, there can be no darkness. Okay, that is what it means. So he's telling, enter Lucius. Lucius, called you my lord? Get me a taper in my study. Taper is a candle. So it is very ironical that he is telling Lucius only, the person whose name means light, to put a light in his study. So it's जैसे हम बोलते हैं प्रकाश को प्रकाश देने को बोल रहे हैं. So he's telling Lucius to give him light. And unfortunately, what happens is Lucius does put the light in Brutus's study. He lights a candle over there. We'll see further in the scene, but I'm just telling you, he lights the candle over there and he calls Brutus. He tells Brutus that I have lit your candle. I have put light over there in your study. You can proceed to the study. But it is so ironical that Brutus meets with the conspirators and he is not able to reach his study. In fact, he goes out. So that is, this is an ironical thing according to me over here. Okay, get me a taper in my study, Lucius. When it is lighted, come and call me here. Lucius, I will, my lord. Brutus, it must be by his death. Whose death? Caesar's death. It must be by his death. And for my part, I know no personal cause to spurn at him. So he is saying, Brutus is very clear about his motives. This scene is important because it tells you about, it gives us an insight into Brutus's motive for killing Caesar. We know that Cassius already had some personal grudge, but it's very clearly told to us by Shakespeare that Brutus had no personal grudge. He had no personal grievance. He had no personal desire to get something. There was no jealousy. There was absolutely nothing. The only cause that Brutus had was the cause for the general, means for the good of the Roman people, the Roman public. That is what he is saying. So I know no personal cause to spurn him, but for the general, he would be crowned. How that might change his nature, there's the question. So he is saying that once Caesar becomes the king, once he gets more power, a king has a lot of power. So he's saying once Caesar gets that power, I don't know how Caesar's nature will change, and therefore I think I should kill him. Okay, so he's saying how that might change his nature, there's the question. So the question is that once Caesar gets all that power, it might change his nature, and how his nature will change, even I don't know. But it is the bright day that brings forth the adder, and that craves wary walking. Now it is a bright day that brings forth the adder means it is the morning time. It is during morning that the poisonous snake comes out of his hole. He comes out of his hole in search of sunlight. and in search of finding his prey, so that he can prey on somebody. And that is the time when we should be very careful when we are walking. So he's saying that is what happens. It is a bright day. Crown him. Crown him means who? Crown Caesar. That means that action. Crown him. And then I grant, means I promise you, that we put a sting in him. We put a sting in him means that we give him the power to bite all of us, to sting all of us, all the Romans, whenever he wants to. I grant we put a sting in him, that at his will he may do danger with. So then he can be dangerous for Rome and Romans. The abuse of greatness is when it disjoins remorse from power. The abuse of greatness means the misuse of greatness or the wrong cause. The meaning given to you in the book is wrong cause. It means the misuse. So the misuse of greatness is when it disassociates itself. When greatness disassociates itself from remorse. Remorse is kindness. So when power or when greatness disassociates itself from kindness, then it becomes dangerous. And to speak the truth of Caesar, then he's talking to himself only. He's saying, to speak the truth of Caesar, I have not known when his affections, means feelings, were swayed more than his reason. So he's saying, still, I have never known an incident in my knowing of Caesar when he has been carried away by his emotions or by his prejudices that he has had, rather than his logic and reasoning. So what he's saying, that I have always known Caesar to be a logical person and who does a lot of reasoning. He does not get swayed by his emotions. Okay, but it is a common proof that lowliness is young ambition's ladder. So he's saying, but it is a common proof that humbleness, a person is humble when a person is ambitious. That is what he's saying, that a person is humble when a person is ambitious. So an ambitious young man, he's comparing, that metaphorical comparison is here, that when he wants to climb to the top of a particular position, he will be very humble. Okay, and he'll climb up the steps one by one in all humility. But once he reaches the top, as soon as he has reached the top of his career or whatever he has reached or his power, after that what he does, he will not look down at the people or the steps of the ladder which have helped him to climb up. He just chooses to discard them. So that is what he is saying over here. See, crown him that, and then I grant, okay, we put a sting, that at his will he may do danger with. The abuse of greatness is when it disjoins remorse from power. And to speak the truth of Caesar, I have not known when his affections swayed more than his reason. But it is a common proof that lowliness is young ambition's ladder, whereto the climber upward turns his face, but when he once attains the upmost round, he then unto the ladder turns his back. He does not look at the ladder. And he looks into the clouds, scorning at the base degrees by which he did ascend. So he climbed up the steps because of that ladder. But once he reaches the top, he forgets the people who have helped him to climb there. Okay. So Caesar may, then lest he may prevent. So he's saying Caesar could also do that. So just in case that Caesar does such a thing and he forgets the people who have helped him to reach the top, lest he may, it is better that we prevent him. So see, he is talking to himself about the reasons. This is his soliloquy. He is talking to himself as if he is trying to convince himself about the reasons why, according to him, Caesar needs to be killed. Okay, children, this is very, it's a soliloquy which Brutus is speaking when speaking to himself. Of course, the audience can hear it. I had told you this, that when you're enacting a play, a soliloquy is something that the character is speaking to himself, but the audience is able to here. So we are hearing this speech. So here he is sort of giving himself as if he is convincing himself that what I have decided, or that because I'm going to join the conspirators, because we have decided to kill Caesar, we are right. And there is every reason to kill him for the general good of the public. Okay, so that is what he is saying. So then, lest he may prevent. So let us prevent that he does not become so tyrannical. And since the quarrel over here is the murder. And since the quarrel, the murder, will bear no color. Color over here means it cannot be justified. The word color over here means there is no justification. It cannot be justified. So he's saying because the murder of Caesar cannot be justified for the thing he is, means for what he is at present. So at the moment, Caesar is not harmful to anybody. Okay, but they have just decided that he is just deciding in his mind that he wants to agree that with the conspirators that we should kill Caesar because Caesar might be dangerous. But at the moment he is not dangerous. So he is saying to prevent that might be dangerous, let us kill him. Okay, so he's saying that very clearly over here, that since the quarrel means the murder will bear no color, means it cannot be justified for what he is at the present, for the thing he is. Fashion it thus means argue in such a way. What do you want to argue? The reason why we want to kill Caesar. So argue it in such a way that what he is augmented means increased, would run to these and these extremities. So let us argue in such a way that whatever Caesar is at the moment, if his power is increased, if it is augmented, then there could be these extreme situations where he can become tyrannical. He might do something which is not good for Rome, and Rome may not be a republic. So he's saying this could happen in the future. Okay, and therefore think of him as a serpent's egg. So now he is giving himself another example, another metaphorical comparison. He's saying think about a serpent's egg. If you have the egg of a serpent, when that egg will hatch, what will happen? Once a serpent's egg will hatch, obviously a snake will come out. So he's saying similarly, Caesar at the moment is like a serpent's egg, which hatched would as his kind grow mischievous, means grow dangerous. Mischievous here is dangerous. So kill him in the shell. So let us kill Caesar at the moment, at present, because he might become dangerous. So he has given us two examples. Children, you have to remember this. One is the metaphorical comparison with the ladder. The second is the metaphorical comparison with the serpent's egg. Okay, Brutus's soliloquies are always important, so please learn them properly. Now enter Lucius. Lucius, the taper burneth in your closet, sir. Searching the window for a flint means for a match. So searching the window for a flint, I found this paper, thus sealed up, and I am sure it did not lie there when I went to bed. So he's saying, I went to your study, and when I was finding a match so that I could light the candle, at that time I found this paper, and I'm 100% sure that this paper was not there when I went to bed. Means it was not there in the night. It has come later. And he gives him a letter. Brutus, get you to bed again. It is not day. Is not tomorrow, boy, the Ides of March? Lucius, I know not, sir. Look in the calendar and bring me word. So he's telling him, if you don't know, please check the calendar and let me know if tomorrow is the Ides of March. So Lucius, I will, sir. And he exits. Brutus. Now, children, before I continue with what Brutus is saying, I want you all to make a note of what I have written for Brutus's soliloquy, because this is very important and you should be able to understand the points. So please quickly get your papers and pen or whatever you have and write down. What are the points we see in Brutus's soliloquy? The first thing is that he is already convinced that Caesar must die. Okay, so he's convinced. Excuse me. The second part in the soliloquy that we understand is we get his motive. And what is his motive? The good of the Roman people. He has no personal cause. Then his chief worry. We come to know what he is worried about. What is he so worried about? The chief worry is that if Caesar is crowned, children please write, if Caesar is crowned, the absolute power of a king may change his nature, making him tyrannical, and thus ending Roman democracy. So this is the chief worry that he has in his mind. Okay. Then the fourth thing, what does he admit? There are certain admissions that he makes while he is speaking. So what is he admitting? He admits that till today he has never known Caesar to be influenced by emotions or prejudices, and Caesar has always acted in accordance with reason. So he knows, he admits this. Okay, did you write it? Okay. Then what are the metaphors? The metaphor of a ladder is given to describe the ascent of a young ambitious man. The metaphor of an ascent of a ladder is given to describe the ascent of a young ambitious man. Such a person steps up the lower rungs with great humility. But once at the topmost rung, he does not look at the lower steps. Caesar might behave similarly. So, to prevent Caesar in behaving in such a fashion, Caesar should be killed. Then, what does he do? He argues or reasons with himself that since their murder, that is a quarrel, cannot be justified by what Caesar is at present, since their murder or since the assassination cannot be justified by what Caesar is at present, one should argue that if his present power is augmented, means increased, if his present power is augmented by kingship, by making him the king, if his present power is augmented by kingship, he will do acts of tyranny. So that is one thing. And the second thing is, Caesar is like a serpent's egg. So again a metaphor we have. Caesar is like a serpent's egg, which once hatched will produce a snake, which will definitely bite. Hence, it is necessary to kill Caesar before he is crowned as the king. So, it is necessary to kill Caesar before he is crowned as the king. You should kill him before that. Now, what is the weakness in his argument over here, in Brutus's argument with himself? What is the weakness? I have noticed this, please take it down. The weakness in his argument is that he condemns Caesar mainly on suspicion. He condemns Caesar mainly on suspicion, not giving any weightage to his own experience. He condemns Caesar mainly on suspicion, not giving weightage to his own experience of knowing that Caesar has never allowed his decisions or judgments. Caesar has never allowed his decision or judgments to be swayed by emotions. So this is the biggest weakness in his argument, that he himself is swayed by emotions. In spite of knowing that Caesar is a very logical person who is never swayed by emotions, he does not give any value to that personal experience. Okay. So it's just on the basis of suspicion that he could be so and so, he could become dangerous, he agrees to be with the conspirators. Okay. Okay, so I hope you have got that. That is for Brutus's soliloquy. Okay, so I think one soliloquy in a day is more than sufficient. So I'll leave you with this over here, and we'll stop over here. And Lucius has gone to check whether it is the Ides of March. We leave it at that point. and I'll see you again. Children, please do read and learn as much as you can so that you don't have to learn everything at the end. So keep learning, keep writing, keep doing your workbooks like I always tell you. So here's your English facilitator Hemangi, seeing you off for the day, and meet you at next time from where we'll continue from today. Bye everyone.